Last couple of videos, I forgot to put my Patreon people in the video, so I'm gonna just put them in the beginning right now, and then we'll get started. So I made the pinless joint video on how much I don't like those as a customizer. They look good, but as a customizer, they're just not for me. And in that video, I got a comment. In that video, I got a comment about what do I think about diaphragm ab crunch versus just a regular ab crunch. And I do like this more. It looks better to me. Functions better, a lot better. With the ab crunch, this is Spider-Man 2099 white suit. This one has just a basic crunch. It's okay, you know, it's nice. I feel with this type of joint, you can get a deeper ab crunch because you get 2 points of bend. So on this one, you just get the one, and he goes in pretty far. If I'm on camera, he goes in pretty far. It's not a bad look at all. But when you come over to the newer Spider-Man, newer retro Spider-Man, you can not only get the crunch, you not only get a bend here, but you get one at the lower. So make sure his legs are straight. And it's a little deeper for comparison. Here's the two. You can, not on camera. You can see the difference in the crunch. Like he's slouched over a little bit further than him. Just a little bit on these ones. The Power Ranger figures do it a little bit better. I don't know why. But the Power Ranger figures have a better crunch than this. And this just looks so much better, especially when you're posing. Like basic Spider-Man poses, you can get some pretty gnarly stuff going. This one doesn't have a, oh, no it doesn't. It has a cutout. This one doesn't have a disc hinge at the neck either. That'll probably be another video where I talk about the difference between the disc hinge and the ball peg neck. But you can really get some Spider-Man type poses going. This is basic. This is not the best pose. But you can get some really decent Spider-Man stuff going with this one. As far as this one goes, it's going to look a little wonky only because he can't rotate at the chest like this one can. So when you get to this one doing Spider-Man poses, it looks a little bit less natural, I guess. So you can see the difference. And that's not even, I'm not even like half-ass posing this, I'm actually posing it, but you can see a major difference in these poses. Like for one, his leg's higher, this leg's higher. He's crunched forward just that much more to get that natural look. And he has that chest. That chest can also, like, it's a diaphragm joint, so it can also swivel and make better, more natural looking poses. It just looks way better. This is the example in Marvel Legends. I'm gonna show you the Power Ranger one. For the Power Ranger figures, I believe they started here, the diaphragm with the crunch, and it just works. I know a lot of people were like, when they first announced that White Ranger, a lot of people were like, that's ugly, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But once we got them, I'm trying to straighten out this belt. Once we got them in hand, like you can see like just the bend is, I mean, it's awesome. Naturally though, these being martial artists, they would need that. It gets really far back too. I never understood why they make them crunch back more than forward. That's kind of weird to me. Like if I could talk to these guys, I would ask them to put in a better crunch forward. But yeah, these figures do some crazy stuff with articulation too. So diaphragm joint, like I said, you get that natural movement right there. The only thing that sucks with these sometimes is if they have a suit, like on the Lost Galaxy ones, the design comes from, it's like a zigzag. So when you bend it and move it, it kind of breaks the design up. But other than that, when you get into the articulation and the ninja-like poses that you can do with these guys, it's pretty awesome. You can get some really decent poses out of these, like SHF type poses. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, these Power Ranger figures, I feel like they executed the joints the best. The diaphragm and the ab crunch together, they executed the best. And the G.I. Joe ones, to me, fell kind of short because they don't get the same amount of range, I guess. These are more like the standard ab crunch, just with a ball joint at the waist. And then you really don't get much out of that ball joint. You get something, but you don't get enough. But this one has a deep forward crunch, so that's kind of not fair for my comparison. Because if you look at it right now, he's crunching forward better than the Ranger, which is kind of crazy. Let me see. Straighten out his legs. Yeah, he's crunching forward just that much more than the Power Ranger, which is kind of crazy because in my head, this didn't work good. So apparently these do work a little bit better. Some of them, like I have some of those waist ball joints on mine that are really gummy and they make me nervous, like it's gonna snap. So I generally, with the G.I. Joe stuff, I don't rotate the waist. I try not to. This one is a rare occasion where it actually worked out, which is kind of weird for me anyway. Like I said, more of mine than not have a gummy waist joint, and this kind of makes me nervous, but this one is good. So I guess in theory, these ones do work the best. I wish they would do this on Marvel Legends though. I wish they would pick one for Marvel Legends, you know? I wish they would pick either this style or, which is weird too because they haven't used this body for anything else, but hopefully they do. I wish they would pick this one or this one. I wish they wouldn't give us stuff like this and then do stuff like this. Even though this is older than this, but there's still figures out there that we're getting that don't have this articulation, and they should. So it's kind of silly from my point of view. Now, as a customizer, I haven't really painted. I don't really like to fully paint figures, like repaints, especially when it comes to articulation, because I don't like joint rub and I don't like prepping figures and stuff like that. But as far as customizing goes, I've had people tell me that these are better to work with than the Crunch. People have told me these don't rub as much and stuff like that. So I guess from a customizer's point of view, this is pretty sick. And it does, to me, it looks a little more natural versus this one. Yeah, to me, this one looks a little more natural. This body does look a little more natural, less superhero vibes than this one. This one is really muscular and superheroed out. The Power Ranger is not. These guys, you know, if you've seen Power Rangers, which I hope you have, these guys are just guys in spandex, and they don't really have a lot of musculature, except for this guy. When he goes Battleizer, he gets a buff suit, which is kind of weird. But I like this one. It just looks more natural to me. As far as articulation goes, I really like it. I really do like these diaphragm joints. I hope I tried to give enough examples. So you guys can see the difference. I even brought a female Power Ranger because he's female. I wish all the female figures had this articulation too. I totally forgot he had drop down hips. That's gonna be a topic on another video too. Is these drop down hips, because they're kind of like eh. But yeah, I wish all female figures had this diaphragm ab crunch deal here, because the female figures I feel like really benefit from it, especially like Jaina Solo, the Black Series figure. I want to say that was the first one with it. That figure really benefited from that articulation, and it sucks because we didn't get it again on anything else. Asajj Ventress is really nimble. She does a lot of acrobatic type moves, and she jumps a lot and crunches a lot and fights like weird. So it would have been nice to see this on Asajj Ventress. I don't know why they would give us Asajj Ventress and not give us the Crunch too, but the Black Series team is kind of weird. So yeah, I tried to give as many examples as I could on these joints just to show you guys the difference and how they work. To me, in my opinion, the best one is the G.I. Joe one, just because of how deep it goes and how it moves and stuff. But my favorite one is the Power Rangers one and this Spider-Man one. Even though I wish this one crunched a little more. I wish these both crunched forward a little more. That's not really a flaw of them. It's more on Hasbro because, like I said, they make them go back more than they go forward. So it's kind of like whatever with that. But yeah, really like these joints. I prefer, like I said, the crunch over the crunch. I prefer the diaphragm crunch over just the single crunch. It just looks a lot better, works a lot better. This one looks more natural than this one. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. You know, let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'm out.